Hey, Cher.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
So, welcome back to Tater Tot Talk.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Um, for anyone who don't know me, I am Connie Tate. If you're new here, this is where we pull up a chair and have real conversations. And I never look at the camera. I don't know why. Like I'm always looking off or over here. Anyway, about life, family, work. You might see some jokes, some funny stuff. Just pull up a chair and join us. And some of the things you probably weren't even planning on telling people today, but here we are.
Well, here we are.
So today I have a repeat offender, my sister Sherry, and apparently one episode with me just wasn't enough.
It wasn't. I mean, we were watching it at work and people were just cracking up. So why not do it again?
All
Take
right.
two.
Right. So I do have my handy dandy notes here because I'll go off script if I don't.
Right.
Um,
Squirrel.
Squirrel moments for sure. So, if you watched Sherry's first episode, you already know two things. She sells cars, she loves God, and when you put the two of us together, there's pretty good chance this conversation is going to go off the rails at some point. So Sherry, welcome back. I've already said that, so here we are, squirrel. The last time you've already answered the original tater tot question about your how you like your tater tots. I won't ask that again. Go ahead. I don't know. I just like my mind just went completely shut down.
Well, I was thinking about a tater tot and the perfect tater tot, and I think you're going to agree, is
I
your
think I know what you're
tater.
going to say.
You probably already do.
It probably has crab on it.
It does. Crab dip and some cheese. Oh, that would be the perfect.
Sprinkled with a little green onion.
Yes, yes. It's a you can tell we grew up on the water. We had to pick crabs what every day before we could play outside in the
You know
summer.
what? I was telling my kids this, right? Because obviously in Delaware,
Yeah.
we go crabbing. And I just remember, and I love it now. And I always say, when you grow up, kind of like their hunting was our crabbing,
Oh, right. Well, technically,
and
it's hunting.
yeah. And I always said, and it seems like when some people look at our life back then, it's like, oh, so you're spoiled, bitchs, because you lived on the water. And it wasn't like
Yeah,
that. It was just like we had the chores. Our chores consisted of
we
making
had to work.
trot lines. I remember taking that freaking chicken neck off of those
I
trot,
was going to say that.
putting them on
Yes.
that, packing them in salt. Right? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, now looking back on that childhood, all right, it taught me a lot, and we were blessed to be able to, but we're really blessed because we couldn't eat the crabs that we were picking a lot of
Oh
times.
my gosh, I know.
Um,
I know. That was the worst. We couldn't eat the crab. We had to put it in a bowl. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I know we ate some.
oh yeah, we did. Kind of like remember, at Christmas time, Mom always made these cookies, and she hid them in the box
Oh,
up above
yeah.
the refrigerator. And because my teeth never got fixed, which I'm cool with, that's my signature, right? So
There
hey,
you go.
I embrace it. Jimmy knew that I bit it and put it back. Who does that? Like they're not gonna find it.
Good.
Who does that? I'm like, no, it wasn't me. Clearly it was.
Well, I remember when we lived in North Carolina that dad would eat the cookies. He'd find them, got the munchies, and he'd find them in the closet in their bedroom. I mean, I knew where they were. He'd find them and he would eat them and blame us.
We did get blamed for a lot of stuff back then. All right, so people got to know you last time, but I don't think they had enough of us. So today
Yeah.
we're going to settle a few things. First question. If you had to describe our relationship to somebody who had never met us, what would you say?
It's hard because we live so far from each other.
Right.
We've had some times where we just didn't talk to each other, but as we were growing up, we didn't really. Our childhood was different because at 14, I went to go live with dad, and I didn't, and we're 4 years apart, something like that.
We will be
Who
4 years
counts as
in
we get older?
February. We will be 4 years in January.
Okay, okay. Man, I'm tapping on that 60. But I know. But we didn't like we were close when we were little. Like I remember you always following me around. We had our cousins we always played with, whether we were in North Carolina living or whether we were in Maryland living, because
Right.
we had moms, we had our cousins with our mom's side, and then we had our cousins with dad. So we were really close growing up. Like if somebody messed with you, they were messing with me.
Right, same. And let's be real, a lot of your friends were my friends because of siblings
Correct.
too. So it was
Yeah.
like we just by default, I think, had a lot of time together. It's
Yeah, because
bad.
we had twin friend, I think they were more your age, but their older sister was my age.
Right.
So we just hung out in groups. We rode bikes. We did the things that kids really, honestly, they don't do. And they don't really have the ability to do because of the crazy world we live in. So growing up, that part we were very close. I remember mom just dressing us alike, like we were twins.
Like she wanted us to be twins. And do you remember? I remember specifically living in North Carolina in our little rancher, and I hated open toe shoes.
Uh-huh.
Mom curled my hair like a little Shirley Temple, and then
Hey,
she really enjoyed having you with curly hair, and I had the straight hair.
I
Where
hated it.
you had a green Easter dress, I
I
had a pink Easter dress.
Yep.
White open toe
Yep.
shoes, and I threw a fit because I was not wearing these white open toe shoes. I remember that, and I was
Yep.
like 7, I
I
think.
remember it because I remember that actually is one of the biggest memories that I have, because I was like looking back and seeing like old photos or something, which I don't know where those photos are, but going, man, she really wanted us to be twins.
Yeah,
And that didn't change because as we got older, so, when I lived with dad and you lived with mom and we didn't have adolescence really is what we didn't have together.
right.
And you went to go live with dad and went to Pennsylvania and all those things, but then as we got older, she still bought us the same exact things for
Well,
Christmas.
to be fair, she didn't want to leave anybody out, so they had to be
Exactly.
exactly the same. And
And
I'm
she
like,
did
oh,
it with our kids.
our taste is way different.
Yeah, no
But
kidding.
okay. But so let's talk about the childhood a little bit because we did go through a lot of stuff, and what made us who we are today, I think, really comes from what we grew up with. And when I say
Right.
that, I'm talking about the heavy stuff. Like this is where I'm probably gonna get emotional because I haven't
Yeah.
really publicly talked about it. Was like dad's addiction,
Yeah.
where that all started. We grew up with that. We grew up through mom and dad's divorce and dad trying to get in mom's good graces again, and then him not having a secure place to live. And when we go to
Right.
visit, we didn't know where
Who
we,
knew?
yeah,
Yeah.
we
Who
had
knew?
no idea. And you know what? And witnessing him partake in those uh,
Activities.
yeah, and like so we really grew up with a hard childhood that I think really helped us evolve into the women we are today. Even though
Right.
we had our hiccups too. Like
We did.
thank God mom did send me to Pennsylvania where I now reside and my roots are, my grandkids
Right.
and my children, and because who knows where I would be. So
Right.
a lot of I think we're going to talk about it. Estrangement happens with parents is through situations like that. I could have easily cut mom out of my life, like you didn't want me, which wasn't the case. Now that I'm older, I see the blessing that was that it had to happen like that.
Oh, I feel the same exact way. Absolutely.
I think this
When
episode will be about our childhood and what molded us, and then we can pick up.
on another episode.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
that's
that's
something that
good.
we just don't talk about often because I used to be embarrassed
Mhm.
by it. I used to be embarrassed
Me
by
too.
our childhood. I used to be embarrassed by dad. I used to be
Yep.
embarrassed. Now, as an adult woman, I'm like, I'm kind of thankful for it because it made me who I am today. Go ahead. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, it's okay.
I think we're
and we
growing.
moved. And that's another part of this caveat, right? Like we move so much that even on Facebook today, the friends I have, unless it was somebody who was like meaningful in my life, I have to think back, where do I know them from? Like, okay, they're in Wilmington now, but I knew them in Maryland because they moved to Wilmington once they became an adult. And it's crazy because those two lives have mixed, but we went to so many schools.
Yes,
um, and that's one of the things I swore my kids wouldn't go through.
same.
Swore that. And my kids did have a lot more transition than yours, only because, I ended up moving to Virginia when
Right.
they were little, and moved a couple of times, but not like we did. I
Mhm.
mean, we have our memories go back. Do you remember the Red House?
I
Do you
do remember
remember?
it wasn't that Cape St. Clair because I
Yeah,
remember when every time we go to Delaware, I see the sign for Cape St. Clair Road, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and there's certain, and I remember we used, and this is the funny thing is that every house we've been into, we always associate it with something. So like the greenhouse
right.
had the greenhouse, and then we had the White House with the windows in the front.
Windows. Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's how we can associate. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember who came from where. Like I don't remember our
right.
chips. Only one is Amory.
Oh yeah,
I
and
think,
that
or
well,
Palm Beach, or
it was Bahama Beach, and that was the greenhouse,
that was the greenhouse, and that's where we had Cujo.
Grizzly. But
Grizzly,
yes,
and the ducks, and yeah,
right. And Grizzly ate the ducks, but
yeah. So like those are some of the core, and they're just little core memories. Like
yep,
I just don't have a lot. And unlike you, I remember saying I will never ever, first of all, I never wanted a divorce because I never want my children to go through that.
yeah, same. Yep,
So, and life happens, life's and things
life's life.
happen. And I remember when I did divorce, mom kept wanting me to move there and bring the
Yeah,
kids out. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I will not move them away. I'm going to sink or swim. But my kids are going to still be with their dad, with their
right.
family, with their friends. I'm not going to move them from school to school. And they
Yeah,
did. They graduated from the same school I graduated from. And
right.
what I didn't sink. I
Yeah,
swam.
that's
So,
right. And that's important, like you just said, because I'm older, so there's a lot of things I do remember. Like I
yeah.
remember, and I don't know if we want to talk about it this episode, but or just talk about the some of the things we went through, like when as kids when we found out mom and dad were going to be divorced, right?
Oh, yeah, I
And
got
that's here to help people, because what we were going through. I mean, I didn't quite get it until I became an adult and I started going through things. And so when we went back and forth from Maryland to North Carolina multiple times,
right.
multiple times. And then we lived with Aunt Brenda. And then we moved to Carolina Beach. And then we went back to Maryland. Well, the last time and no, then we went back to Linville Avenue in Castle Heen and lived up the street from Aunt Brenda.
Yeah.
And then mom and dad decided they were not going to be married anymore, which I didn't know all of that. Like, I think we were told, and I don't remember, you may not remember, you were so little, but we were told that because dad just didn't work.
Right.
He just, he had gotten hurt. In his defense, just so everybody knows, our dad worked for the shipyard in Maryland, and he got hurt. He worked on the ships, and the biggest chains, they just hit his back, and that would let him into his addiction.
I was gonna say
Um,
that's what really started it because it just progressed. He couldn't get any relief.
right, exactly. And God bless him, because I think also, just because I had gone through it with my second husband, that when that happens and you become disabled and you're not able to provide for your family, you start, depression kicks in, all these things. Because if you think about it, he had to have, because our papa was a worker. He worked at the same shipyard. Uncle Tommy was a worker. He worked at the same shipyard. And dad just, I think he started giving up. And then when he couldn't get relief from pain from his surgeries, then he turned to other means, and street medicine, street drugs, and it was marijuana. It started with marijuana,
Oh yeah.
and so when we moved to North Carolina, I think that, we're going to change our places, people, places, and things. And then dad'll give up addictions. Dad'll give up the friends that he had. But instead, it just followed him. He just made more friends because he was very social.
Yeah.
He made more friends, and that addiction followed. And then we moved and we moved and we moved. And when we moved back to Maryland to live with my mom and papa, he just never came back.
Right.
He left and never, actually, he came back twice. He
Hitchhike.
came back one time, and that's when Papa passed away. And
Mm-hmm.
he picked up mom to go to North Carolina because we weren't allowed to go to the funeral. And then he came back I guess they were trying to work things out, and it just didn't work out. Mom had enough.
Right. And that's what I mean, obviously divorce is horrible, but I will say this, and I applaud mom and I
Oh
commend
yeah.
her for this, that she loved us more than she hated him, right? So she didn't put
Yep.
us in a situation, and she could have had Jock adopt us. She could have had Jimmy
Oh
adopt.
yeah.
She could have had all these because what dad was in and out of jail. He was on drugs and
He was
really
on the streets.
right. He didn't have at that point our best interest at heart.
Oh
But
no.
mom never put us in a situation to say, you need to tell your dad you don't want to be, your dad. Like she, and I remember to this day, because he wasn't paying child support. And I remember her saying she's going to turn him in. He's going to go to jail. We begged her. Do
Yeah.
you remember that? Like we begged her not to because I told dad, like, no, a sign of abuse or whatever, neglect. Every child should have a relationship with their parent. Some
Oh
kind
yeah.
of relationship. They should still know their dad. They should, and mom never prevented that from us, regardless of what dad did or didn't do. I really, now at 53, really, really appreciate mom for loving us more than hating him.
Yeah. The only thing that I hated growing up, and mom and I had talked about this too, and you guys may have talked about it, is because when we were younger, she would talk about dad a lot,
Yes.
and not in a positive light,
Right.
or and not to us. I don't remember actually being us, or when she would get angry maybe with us and be like, well, if your dad was around or something like that, but more just talking to other adults. And what do? Kids obviously listen. And sorry, my phone's ringing, I gotta turn it off. And so those things, I think I had built some resentment up of
Right.
it, because I remember dad being who he is, like loving and caring. I remember that. I remember when I went through that storm glass window and dad ran. He never ran,
Mm-hmm.
ran up the street to get me to the hospital. And it's just because the drugs, it just changes people.
It does.
And he decided, mom, and I remember being older because I didn't quite understand. We were in a car coming back to Maryland. We were excited. We were going to see our mom and papa because we hadn't been up there in a while.
Yeah.
But what I am grateful for is we did get to live with them. We did get an experience with my mom and papa that most grandchildren don't get. We did get to experience good and bad with our cousins when Aunt Mary came to live with us too. I mean, that was a lot of people in that little
In
teeny.
that little shack.
Yeah, it's kind of like the size of my house now, and so but it's so crazy because people look at us because we don't talk about it,
Mm.
unless it's just me and you and we're sitting around, but we don't talk about it. Like my kids don't know really the extent of that childhood.
No, and funny you bring that up because Colby has been questioning a lot about dad and my side of the family because he didn't have that relationship with them. So I hope he sees this and he
Yeah,
hears
yeah.
about grandpa because I always say this, dad had his struggles, he had his demons, but he still had such a good heart and he was a
Oh
great
yeah.
friend to everybody.
He
But
loved everybody. Everybody loved him.
yeah, and I always thought he was so handsome. That's not weird to say. I always thought he was
Oh,
so.
he was. Very handsome.
And I said, Colby favors him a lot more than any of the other ones. I feel like I put a side by
Yeah.
side comparison. I'm like, dang, like the skin and everything. But, but that's the thing. Like, and of course, whenever you're younger, you think you know everything and you think you know it all. And then it doesn't come to perspective until later that, like with that, like I could have hated him.
Yeah,
But, he created a whole new family during that
he
time.
did.
I was
Mhm.
always daddy's little girl, I thought anyway, but maybe not. Maybe that was my mind deceiving me. I don't know. But then North Carolina, he has this whole new family. And I'm like, I remember going to go see grandma and she had dementia or something because you remember mom used to cut my hair real short, like a
Yeah,
boot.
yeah, yeah.
I was laying there on the
You
floor.
talking about dad's mom?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she said,
Okay.
Jimmy, who's that little boy laying down there? And so then I was sitting on his lap and I remember Sylvia getting pissed off because
Oh
I
yeah,
was too old to be on his lap, and Sarah got on his lap.
yeah,
So that dynamic of having I think that's why I keep that in the back of my head why I never wanted to have another family, like even with Brent, because I never wanted my children to feel that way.
yeah.
So a lot of our childhood taught me, especially of the kind of parent, the woman, mother that
Oh
I
yeah.
do or don't want to be for my family, and even grandparent, because I never, mom and Jock were never up here, and I never want to miss out on my grandchildren. So it does teach you,
Mhm.
but you have to be open to those lessons, right?
You
So
really do.
And you have to hurt your feelings. Like I remember thinking my poop don't stink. I'm just like, and really I'm like, girl, shut your
Mhm.
mouth because you are a problem sometimes. And you have
Right.
to do that.
You do. And, it's so true because I think it taught me the same lessons, and I was blessed in a different way because when I went through my first divorce, I had to live with mom.
Yeah.
I lost my house and I had to live with them. And so my kids did, because I lived in Maryland. So they did spend a lot of time with mom and Jock. They did spend a lot of time with dad because dad, once he left Sylvia, once all that dynamic ended, dad was in my life because I worked for the doctor he went to. I was all about his health, and so I had to be.
Right.
It's crazy. It's insane the way that works out
Oh, 100.
because I definitely wanted to. I love taking care of people, and so, I was like, okay, now I'll take care of dad. I'll do this for him. I'll help him out. We did. We had like a whole separate family. I mean, I'm 56 and how old is JC? 36? Yeah, I think well, he's 3 years older than Cameron. Cameron's 32. So 35 because I was pregnant with Cameron and JC was 3.
I can only remember Jamie based off of Brent's age. That's it.
Well, that's another episode. But and so I think that we were blessed because we also realized too how important family is, because we knew what it meant for us and what we didn't have and what we wish we had.
Right. And I think sometimes it's kind of reversed for me because I feel like I'm so independent because I didn't have anybody. Like I feel like throughout my whole life I was rejected. I was going here, I was going
Oh
there.
yeah, me too.
I was sent here, I was sent that I had to become like oddly independent. And I think that's why like when Brett and I talk and I'm like, you know what? I have really no I can get up and move anytime. I don't care other than my kids
Right,
and my grandkids. Like I would
right,
not
right.
now. But prior to that, like I feel like I don't really have a place. And I still feel that way
Mm-hmm.
in a way, other than my kids. And so sometimes when you're rejected by family and friends, like sometimes those old things come back in, like you're not
They
good at
do.
not no one loves you. You're not good at, and you start to overthink a lot of things. And then you have
Right.
to remember, bring it back in, girl, that you overcome so much. Don't put that
Yeah.
in. That's a part of the healing journey that I've been on too. Like is digging into all of that and thinking, you know what, that has nothing to do with me anymore. And a lot of
Right.
times people rejecting you now, it's more about them. I mean, we've gone through it. So it's more about them than it is about us. And I think it's just
Yeah,
huge
but
blessings.
it is, and I agree with you because I felt the same way. Growing up, dad, I felt rejected by dad. And then there were times I felt rejected by mom, and not intentionally.
Right.
It's just mom was such a hard worker, which is where we do get our work ethic from, and where we get our integrity and things like that from, because she was such a hard worker that she works. Now, some things I wish I didn't learn from mom in the sense that she worked so much we didn't have a true relationship with her
I was
growing
just
up,
gonna say
right?
that. So the affection, all of that stuff just
Right.
was non-existent.
Yeah. I mean, she always told us that I can remember she loves us, we would hug her just like we got it as adults. But I remember, playing cheerleading and playing softball and those things where we would have to get rides places because mom had to work overtime. But as a kid, it's like, where is she? Why isn't my mom at my game?
Here, she never came to anything.
No, and it was because she always worked so we could do those
So that
things.
we could. And she didn't have that money to just be thrown around, but
She
somehow
didn't.
she made it work that we always did sports. And
Always.
do you remember Shore Acres? Grandpa or
Oh,
Pop and the uncles, they always made us go in the middle of the road and throw the ball back and forth.
yes.
Because
And
because
I pitched.
yeah, and I was a catcher. So it was like, and I said to Colby, over you get it on this because baseball, softball comes from my mom's side of the family, and Aunt Sherry
Yeah.
did it. And I was a catcher, she was a pitcher. It was a chore to have to go out in the middle of the
It
road.
was a chore.
Go,
Yeah.
go
And
catch in the middle of the road for real. Go catch in the middle.
yeah. Oh,
And
wait a minute, there's a
you're
car
not done.
coming. Move
Yeah.
over.
And you're not done until you caught this many balls.
Right. And
Hmm.
Pop would, like, for me, he would squat down and catch because he was a catcher too.
Right.
And he would catch. He's like, that's not fast enough. That's not fast enough. Or, and then him and Mr. Poe, because, he lived up the street.
Yep.
Mr. Poe used to take us to baseball, softball. so they would get together. Well, Sherry needs to work on this, or Connie needs to work on that. And then we played infield too. So, you know, and for people who don't know, our grandfather, our pop, he was recruited to play for the Washington Senators. So baseball was a
And
passion in our
and
family.
Baltimore Heat soccer.
Oh yeah, Baltimore Heat soccer.
I
Yeah,
have those
yeah.
articles.
I
Yeah,
think he's in the Hall of Fame for the soccer.
yeah, yeah.
And
Well,
and it was Uncle Buddy, Uncle Johnny. I mean, the whole family.
or
I remember as a kid.
or it was music.
Or music, yeah. And it's so funny you bring that up because I remember, I sing in the choir, right, at
I
church.
mean, I sing and I do karaoke every now and then,
Well,
but
I know you do. I remember my first day at choir practice, and this has been a while now. And I remember people telling me I couldn't carry a tune with a bucket over my head, but I just loved to sing for the Lord. I love to sing anyway, but I just really love to worship. And it was so funny because my choir director, she said she would go around when you're new, and she's like, what type of experience did you have? What type of this do you have? And I said, well, I'm just here to find out because I'm not sure. I was told when I was a kid that I can't carry a tune with a bucket over my head. And she started laughing. And we were sitting there, and she's like, oh, Lord, here we're in for something, right? Because I was like, man, if I'm off key, that first practice, I'm like, I leave, and I was like, said to my friend Devin, I said, did I sing all right? He goes, I really didn't hear you. And then I text one of my friends later. I said, hey, to ask Marty, he was sitting right behind me. Ask Marty if I was off key. So her husband's like, no, she was fine. But I still, because you're told it.
yeah.
So that was my head. And then this past season, I had to audition this time. And I went, come on. I was like, Charlotte, can I win you over with some chocolate?
Can I?
I'll
But
bring you chocolate. And she's like, you'll be fine. I said, I'm not kidding. I'll bring you some chocolate or some cookies or something sweet. And then I got there and I sang.
we're frozen. Okay, go.
Well, there were like 5 other people. And then she said, well, congratulations, everyone, that you passed. I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Well, at church that next Sunday, I went up to her and I hugged her. I said, thank you so much for letting me on the choir. She goes, girl, you did it yourself. You can sing. You're fine. And I went, okay. But you know what I mean? It's like, because you're taught.
And you know what? And I think that's why I am overly, first of all, I'm overly affectionate with my kids.
Me too.
And I'm also telling them, I feel like, because communication is huge, and what you say
Right.
is what you believe, and what you tell your mind is what you believe. And what other people are feeling it is what you believe. That's why I think it's so important to surround yourself with proper people and environments and situations. But like you said, careful about what you're saying or what you're putting into someone else's brain.
Yep.
Because, yeah, it might be true, but there's a way to say it without saying you suck. How about we
Right.
fill it in and put a little bit of positive with negative, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like, mom was very direct, but I think that's part of being a mom, right? So
Yeah.
the Hines family, yeah, we just
Yeah.
won't do that one just yet. That's a whole lot.
It is. Well, and it's true because even the Bible says your tongue is a two-edged sword, right? You can speak life over something or you can speak death over something. So
Mhm.
you're supposed to speak life over everything else. You're not supposed to do that. I mean, there's a way to do it and guidance in that, because it is true, because then whoever's receiving that message is playing it over in their head like, oh, what did I do wrong? How did I do this? They're replaying.
Yeah. And that's what drives me absolutely bonkers with people who do not communicate. If I did something wrong, you've got to tell me, because I'm going to go through this whole life thinking, oh my God, what did I do? And I may not have done anything, but now it's going to affect my well-being.
Yes.
I'm worried
Mhm.
about that. And a lot of people say I overthink, which, okay, that's true. That's just a trait that I have. But if you just communicate with me and you just tell me, dude, you're a little much right now, like I know how to fix it, but that's in life in general. If you're not
Right.
saying your thoughts and you're not communicating, and I think that's what happens in our society, is that now we rely on text messages, we rely
Oh
on
yeah.
media, we don't really rely on the face-to-face conversations, and everyone's afraid of hurting everyone's feelings, which I get it, or not afraid enough, and they're just complete asses to people instead of just saying that's just the way I am. No, there's a way to communicate like a grown up and receive
Yeah.
it like a grown up.
Yeah. And it's true, I mean, and I'm guilty because I don't like confrontation. I don't like to hurt people's feelings. And sometimes I can be extremely blunt. And so I know that God's working on me with that, but I'm guilty of it. It's happened in our relationship where okay, we just aren't going to talk right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a struggle. And even with, my kids, that I have to make sure I'm communicating. I've got to do it right because otherwise they could be offended. Then offense turns to resentment and anger and bitterness. And I was just preaching on that this morning. But we got to have those open communications, and we learn these from our parents, and our parents did not
Oh,
communicate. I
no.
mean, we came up from North Carolina to Maryland thinking that dad was finding a job and we'd be together. He'd come back, and here we are.
Right.
Never came back.
Never came back. And and I think honestly that really affected me. And I didn't realize it till I started digging deep into things because I always think that if you're not talking to me, you're leaving. If you're not doing it, you're leaving me. Like you're
Yeah.
constantly leaving. People are constantly leaving me.
Yep.
And that was my own thing I had to overcome was that isn't always what that means. Like Brent would get mad at me. Oh my God, are you leaving? Like, yeah, it's a lot of lessons in there.
It
And
is. Yeah, and because of that, that have also affected my relationship with God because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if I do this wrong, God's going to leave me. But the word says that he'll never leave me or forsake me. He's always there. And it can't come back void. It's the truth, right? And that also molded me in my relationships. Like I had a problem where I knew that I just wanted to be loved by somebody, a man, and I married two complete jerks. I mean, I have two beautiful children. Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful for that first marriage, and I'm grateful for lessons that Troy taught me too. But that's when we really have to heal. Like people, I've seen it where people. I'm so grateful because, like, when I got into that relationship with Pete, and he was love bombing,
yes, yes.
right? And now today, I can say, you know what? That's not going to work on me because I'm stronger than I used to be. But as we grew up, and the mom taught us some great things, but not so good things too sometimes
Oh, 100%.
because what she was going through, what she was dealing with.
I think the bottom line really is that as parents, you just try your best at the end of the day. Like
Yeah,
you just try. You're just doing like you've never been a parent before when you have
right.
your first one.
Yeah, it's not like Cabbage Patch dolls where they come with an instruction manual.
I know. I know. Like you're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna make heavy ones and you're going to make great choices and you're gonna make another bad mistake. And it's just learning from those. And a lot of times, unfortunately, your firstborn is the one that you learn with the most.
You do, and I'm coming from a firstborn, right? Like it's just crazy, and but with our childhood too, learning those hard lessons, but then going back as an adult now that we've gone through some hard lessons as an adult. And I remember mom going, I told you so,
Yeah.
um, all that stuff. Like I remember as I was going into my first marriage, mom kept saying, you keep your separate bank account. And I thought I was going to have this perfect marriage. It's going to be great. I didn't need that. We're
No
going
one
to
goes into a marriage thinking they're going to get divorced.
right. Exactly. And I should have because the way I entered that one, but but anyway, I mean, like, you need to have all this great advice, right? And I didn't do any of those things. And then, we bought a house, and then he came back and told me he was bisexual. Like, what in the world is happening right now? All that crap, not aside from the physical and emotional abuse, but all the crap. And then still, because I was big, very insecure,
Mhm.
and like, I'm just going to be alone. I can't be alone my whole life. I think I was 30 when Chip and I split up.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I got two kids, and then Troy comes along, loves on me, and I think he had best intentions in the beginning. Then he got doing that, all that other stuff, and then I still didn't have a separate bank account. Lost everything with Chip because I lost my house, all of that because he went and pays child support. But what mom taught me and you is that we don't fold. If you tell me I can't do something, trust and believe me, I'm gonna make every effort to prove you wrong.
Right.
And went through all that hardness and then met Troy, and then still, I'm gonna prove you wrong, Mom. I don't need a separate bank account. Well, guess what? When I started selling cars, I had a separate bank account. I made sure, and then I prepared myself to leave. And when I look back, that's what Mom did with Jim.
Okay, I don't have a separate bank account because I am not trying to get divorced again. I am not. I mean, I think that we're pretty good.
No, for me, I did it because I could see
Right,
what was happening. I knew where I was coming to the end of that rope.
right,
And I just knew, especially after Mom passed away, that you weren't even really there for me, you know, holding me, talking to me. And it wasn't in him to do that, but still I expected it.
right, because
And
you need that from your spouse.
too, right? So I knew I was able to do things that I couldn't do before. And
Yeah.
I started squirreling that money away. Did you and I wasn't walking with the Lord then, not truly. I knew who he was, but then I was like, I was lying. He'd asked me, how many cars did you sell this month? 5. And I sold like 20 because I was I was putting that money away.
Right, right.
I had to save enough to leave. And Mom taught me that when she decided to leave Jim, that she told me one time, I just put all this money aside. He didn't know about it. And that one time she got enough and she left. And she never went back. She never looked back, And then I truly believe Jock was sent from heaven for her, because he truly was so good to her. I mean, still is. I mean, still mourns her so much.
She needed someone to love her, right?
And love her, yeah. And just, I mean, he's amazing. Like, I wish he was my real dad in a lot of times.
He's not a very affectionate one, but
well, yeah, this is true. But I mean, I love Dad too. But the way he treated Mom, and I started. Right. I mean that.
I think that Dad truly did love Mom. I don't think that
was his life.
He knew. I don't think he knew how to be that husband that she needed.
Yeah, I think when he got hurt, all that stuff just built on. He went through all these depressions, and I feel like a lot of times he kept it inside, just like Mom. Mom was depressed in a lot of ways, and she kept that bottled up, and that's why I just can't, because eat me alive.
Right.
I just can't anymore. The lessons Mom taught us was we are strong women, and sometimes a little bit too much. Because sometimes a little too much, I rely only on me and not realize I need some other people in my life.
Right. And I don't even know that it's solely Mom that taught us that lesson. Like, I'm going to say a lot of it, because you're at 53, I was only with Mom till I was 15. So outside of that, like, I've seen Mom grow and become strong. And she was strong, obviously, during that time. But I think a lot of it are just influences around. And maybe I'm going to pat myself on the back, because I feel like I can take credit for who I am.
Yeah, of course.
This from Mom, but I also left some with her, because there are things that I'm like, no, I don't need. Like, that's not how I'm going to raise my children. Like, that's not how I'm going to live my life. But so
yeah,
I think that she taught me a lot. Because, like I said, I didn't have a lot of time with her, if you think about it, till I was 15, and then the rest of it was Jan's family.
Yeah.
And I will say I'm forever grateful, because Jim and Tammy did show me a marriage, and did show me stability, and did show me consistency. So I do owe a lot to that family as well.
I mean, I agree with you.
Family, but and of course, like you, without them, my beautiful children and grandchildren would not be here, as stubborn as they are too. But
mine are too, and I'm like you, like there's some sprinkle of Mom, but there's just these things, these core values, I feel like, our work ethic.
Yeah.
And our devotion to our family. Because Mom, when I look back and say, I used to question, and we won't go into this on this episode, but that letter that somebody sent. So
I have it.
Yeah, I know you do. and those things, and that person making me feel like Mom didn't love me because she got rid of me. But then when I look back now, as being a mom, a grandmom, I can look back and say, God, that had to break her to make the decision to send me down there, because she felt she was making the best decision for me in my future.
Mm-hmm.
to look back and say, man, she missed my prom. I mean, she was there for my graduation, but she missed all these things that a mom should guide me through, right? And I sit there and now, and I'm like, man, that's a huge sacrifice.
Well, yeah, she missed so much of mine. And really,
Right, me too.
I'm going to say this, it's going to sound so bad, but the step parent shouldn't be the one involved like that. I mean, they could be
A
jointly,
support system.
but not the only one. And if
Right.
there's a step parent that tries to take the other parent out, that step parent needs to go, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that like that's hurting the child more than it's loving the child.
It is because, and then if you don't agree with things, that it shouldn't be in front of a child, and it should never be discussed with them, because
And,
then that child feels like they have to choose something.
yes, and then the child should never be put in a situation to tell their parent, I don't want to be your child anymore, or to tell your parent, like they should never, I don't care how old they are, should never, ever, ever be in a situation like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
that,
because they have their own feelings and so forth. I'm going through some stuff with my youngest, which God's going to restore it. So I trust in that. It doesn't stress me out like it used to. He's a person, right? But I'm sure there are things he looks at, and I'm sure, like, oh, mama, you shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have done that. He's not going to get it until his girls are teenagers
yeah,
or young adults.
he might have a totally different opinion anyway as an adult. And
Oh, yeah.
that situation, that's what I say to Colby and Nikki all the time. Don't go off of what the lessons I taught you or did or whatever. This is your family. You
Yeah.
do you, and I have guidance for you, but that's it. Like,
Yeah.
because it's a whole different world now.
Right. And we have two boys. So,
Yeah.
I would call mom and ask for advice because she's our mom and we're girls, and that's what we do. And so she got being a mom and making hard decisions and
Yeah.
choices. But at least for me, with my boys, they're not going to seek me for that advice. You know what I mean? And of course, my daughter-in-laws are going to seek their moms. And that's hard in the beginning, but I get it. I understand it. So my relationship with Cameron is solid. I feel it's solid. We have a good relationship, and I have a great relationship with Laura. We know how that started out, but man, I wish they'd ask me some things, but I'm grateful they don't sometimes.
Like, how do you boil water? Something like that. Just ask me.
Right. Well, Cameron's a great cook, so
are my boys. Both of them cook. So
yeah.
now and then they might ask me a question, but I'm like, damn, what do they have the moms for now? Like, I do, thankfully, I keep the grandchildren, but other than that, they're gonna go too. Like, they're gonna be in school. Then what? Then what do you do?
Right.
I'm like, oh.
But then that's kind of like
take me to dinner.
No, I know. Well, that's why I asked you if you're going to Delaware, because we are going to Ocean City this weekend.
Cameron did say that, but no, we're taking Brent's dad to the Orioles game on Sunday, and I have a lot of work to catch up on this weekend. But I know you got to hop off, so let's do.
Yeah, I gotta get to the.
We're gonna do some rapid fire.
Okay.
Here, okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Who's more stubborn, me or you?
I think we're the same.
Who's more likely
to don't talk sometimes?
True. Who's more likely to buy something she absolutely does not need? Who would give better advice?
We give different advice.
Who is more likely to ignore that advice? Who's more competitive? Who's more likely to cry during a movie? Who would survive longer without her phone? My business runs on it. So who would get kicked out of a fancy event first?
We probably go together.
Oh yeah, no. If we took a road trip, who would get us lost?
Yeah, I'm good with directions.
Who would insist she knew where she was going anyway? I'm gonna fake it till I make it.
We've gone down that road.
You'll never know. I'm gonna fake it till I make it. Um, who's more likely to start laughing at the worst possible moment?
That's definitely the both of us.
All right, I'm keeping my hands up for this one. Who holds a grudge longer?
No,
Who would
I don't really anymore.
who would win an argument even when she's completely wrong? I think I would just give up at that.
Yeah.
And finally, who was mom's favorite? It depends on the season of life.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know you got to bounce. If anybody's watching this, you've had any questions at all about healing,
Yeah.
lessons, how you become from point A to point Z, and how to get there, and what you need to survive, life lessons, your life that throws curveballs at you, please drop them in the comments. We're here to help. I've never really opened up, and we still didn't open up about a lot of what I brought up in the beginning, but
It'll be episode 3.
yeah, or just
more.
just talking about some things and bringing light to it and letting people know that they're not alone. You can still become an amazing person even if you had a crappy upbringing, but it all depends on what you want to do.
It's true.
If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. So anyway, we're going to peace out right now. And Sherry, thanks for joining me. We need to do episode 4. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We're here for you to help however we can. So from the Tater Talk, we're out.